We rode the winds above the clouds, a whisper in the sky, past silver birds of steel and glass as the world went whizzing by. We were no pilots nor the rich, no seatbelt held us fast, just weary souls on borrowed wings with promises that couldn't last.
We came for freedom, for the big dollars and for free land, a story yet to be written across the Mexican desert sun, through an endless rugged night. The canyons scar, the rivers rage, the dust a bitter shroud, but hope, a fire in the heart, kept voices from the crowd. The crossing cost us all we owned and more than we could say, but promised lands with open arms would wipe the debt away.
The city lights, a starry map, grew bright on freedom's shore. The huddled masses, tired, poor, and yearning for a door. But down below, the rules had changed, a different voice took hold. A bitter chill, a sudden frost, a story growing old. The golden door was slammed and locked, the promises turned dust. The dreams we carried, fragile things, were broken by mistrust. No longer were we tired, poor, but threats to be kept out. A whisper in the hopeful breeze became a fearful shout. The new man's words, a wall of stone, a barrier of steel, made all our struggle, all our faith, a nightmare that was real. We rode the winds above the world, a costly ghost of prayer. Below the silver wings of jets, cut lines in thin air. The desert floor, a mottled sheet, the mountain's rugged spine, and every grain of promised earth, a victory to define. The land of free, a whispered word, a dream we bought with pain. It burned a fever in our hearts through sun and dust and rain. The border crossed the arid lands and every debt was paid. For freedom waits in hopeful light, we weren't afraid. Then changed the guard, and from the north the cold wind started to blow. The promises we'd clung to tight were buried deep in snow. The golden door began to rust, a hinge began to seize. The words of hope, like withered leaves, fell from the winter trees. The new voice spoke of broken things, of walls and tightened grace. And strangers felt their dreams give way in this unwelcoming place. The costly ride, the hopeful flight, the journey from above, reduced to dust and bitter ash where dreams ran out of love. We came with hope, a fragile thing, in search of a new beginning. But the land of the free, with its promise of light, held only shadows and a long dark night. We found no love, no welcoming hand, just a sea of faces we couldn't understand. The words they spoke, a foreign tongue, held no kindness, no song unsung. We carried our hope in our cupped hands, a fragile thing, a flickering flame. We whispered the promise of this new land, a sacred song, a hopeful name. But when we arrived, the anthem changed, the melody broke, the notes estranged. The statue stood cold with stony space, only the sterile silence of this place. The journey scars, we bore them all, a bitter memory of a long hard crawl. We sought the refuge that stories sold, but found a story that was stark and cold. So turn away from the gleaming shore, the land of the free that's free no more. Our weary hearts, a bitter tune, beneath the indifferent, uncaring moon. We carried our hope like a fragile glass, polished by stories of the promised grass. We heard the hymns of the golden door and the huddled masses that welcomed ashore. We came with our hands empty, but hearts so full, ready to build, to strive, to pull. We saw the skyline, a shimmering crown, and believed we'd found a home in that town. But the hymn was a whisper, the story alive, beneath the vast, indifferent sky. The golden door was painted on a wall, and the promised grass was not for us at all. We brought our worth, our labor, our plea, and we're told there was no love in the land of the free. The steel of the gate, the unyielding stone, a different law, a rule not yet known. We were measured and weighed and found wanting and bare, sent back to the silence of the empty air. The door was closed with a resounding clang, and shattered the anthem our spirits once sang. We were sent back with no map and no name, to a land that was ours, yet not quite the same. To a place unknown, a life unlived, by the hope that was taken, the love that was lost. Now we drift in the dust of our own past days, a ghost in the shadow of remembered place. The land of the free, now a hollow sound, and our hearts like our feet touch foreign ground. We look for the love that we failed to find, lost to the fate we were sent to in kind. And in this unknown we carry the weight of a closed door and an unforgiving fate.